Sometimes I think Dracula was never really a story about a vampire. It's the story of a man who lost loved ones and could never accept life as it became afterward. So much effort, so much time, so much wealth, all wasted on a world of lust, pretense, and a place where love no longer exists. That line doesn't sound like the words of a monster. It sounds like the cry of a soul, exhausted from searching for something real. But it raises a question. Is Dracula a symbol of eternal love, or is he a symbol of pride? Because love knows how to let go. Pride whispers, if the world took away what I loved most, then I will reject the world. Love opens the heart. Pride builds a throne out of pain. Seen through the lens of psychology and hypnotherapy, Dracula is no longer a vampire. He becomes a story about the shadow. Not in a mystical sense, but about the part of ourselves that never truly processed loss. When we experience grief, pain gradually becomes part of our life story. But sometimes something else happens. Pain becomes our identity. We stop saying, I'm in pain. Instead, we become the pain itself. That is when the shadow begins to shape our choices, our relationships, and our destiny. In Jungian psychology, the shadow is not only pain. It includes every rejected part of ourselves, our anger, fear, longing for love, vulnerability, strength, and emotions we've learned to suppress. But when a person completely identifies with their wound, the shadow takes over. They stop living in the present. They no longer search for love. They search for confirmation of their suffering. Not freedom, but another version of the past. Not living people, but echoes of someone who can never return. In hypnotherapy, we see this pattern often. The subconscious isn't trying to make us suffer. It's trying to finish an unfinished story. That's why people unconsciously recreate similar relationships, similar losses, and similar disappointments. Not because life is cruel, but because the mind is desperately searching for a different ending. That is why Dracula's immortality became not a gift, but an endless repetition of the same unhealed wound. Perhaps true hell isn't eternal life. Perhaps it's the inability to release the past. When the heart can no longer recognize love because it keeps searching for what it once lost. Maybe that's why Dracula's story still resonates with millions. It isn't really about a monster. It's about a human being who became so fused with their pain that they forgot who they were before it. Healing begins the moment we stop identifying with our wounds. The moment pain is no longer our identity, but simply one chapter of our journey. Maybe the most terrifying vampire doesn't live in an ancient castle. Maybe it lives inside each of us whenever we choose to feed on our pain instead of allowing it to become wisdom. What do you think? Is Dracula's story about eternal love, or about a man whose shadow consumed him?